Subscribe now. EU Debates.
It's a new step. Mesdames, Messieurs, je suis...
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be able to present a new proposal today for a directive on consumer financial services concluded at a distance. The last directive in this field was from 2002. The rules aiming to protect consumers when they sign a contract with a financial service provider at a distance. These rules are very important. We need to renew them. It's not just those that apply to online contracts, but also those sold via telephone. And the 2002 directive tries to ensure that consumers are sufficiently well informed before they sign the contract, or that they also have a right of withdrawal. And over the last 20 years, the EU has tried to strengthen rules in the field of financial services. And we have, since this directive was made, seen new rules come into force, like those on consumer credit, those on mortgages, investment and insurance, just to give you a few examples. The market of financial services has changed significantly. We've seen new fintech players, but we also have new financial models like buy now, pay later models that are being offered to consumers. However, consumers themselves have also changed their behaviour. They buy online more and more, and that's something that only increased during the COVID pandemic because so few consumers could go to banks, for example, to get access to financial services. And we have seen a number of developments which we need to reflect. At the same time, we need to maintain certain provisions of the 2002 directive. This is partly because the text we're putting forward today will provide a safety net. So the provisions that will feed into this safety net will apply to, in a horizontal way, if there are no more specific rules, for example. It's important that we work in this way because horizontal rules will be able to protect consumers when there are no more specific rules, for example, in the field of crypto assets, where we intend to legislate in the future, but we have no rules right now. And sometimes the specific rules don't have consumer protection clauses like the right of withdrawal. So if that is not specifically provided for, these horizontal rules will guarantee it, guarantee that consumer protection. And we will also include a number of provisions from the 2002 directive in another directive, so the Consumer Rights Directive.
Mentioned what the new proposal includes. We will simplify the regulatory environment by repealing the old directive. We will maintain the rules that are still relevant and inject them in the Consumer Rights Directive. By doing so, financial services will also benefit from the recently modernized rules of the Consumer Rights Directive, again, such as the ban on pre-ticked boxes or the rules on enforcement. We will modernize these rules to make it fit for the digital environment. For example, with our proposal, we clarify the rules on the pre-contractual information that needs to be provided by the trader when digital devices are used. We also strengthen the right of withdrawal that already existed under the previous rules by setting an obligation to provide a withdrawal button. Indeed, the right of withdrawal is particularly important in the area of financial services, since product can be very complex to understand, and a consumer may want to cancel a contract after fully understanding the product. This is why we propose such a withdrawal button. The idea is to make it as easy to withdraw from a contract than it is to conclude it. You have maybe seen that in many different actions on internet, that it's more easy to conclude a contract and to have an access to a service than to withdraw. And I'm sure that it's important to come with such a proposal. And to better protect the consumers in the increasing digital market environment, we propose a number of new rules to improve the online fairness. Traders will be obliged to provide adequate explanation to the consumer when the trader uses online tools such as robo-advice or chat boxes. And if the interaction with the automate tool is not satisfactory, the consumer will be able to request a human intervention, meaning someone representing the trader. A last provision will prohibit the trader from setting up means and ways on their online interface which can distort the consumer's ability to make a free, autonomous and informed decision. This is to avoid that the consumer is exploited. So all the time it must be possible to have a human intervention if it's needed to explain what is in the proposed contract, and it must be very clear that the consumer must receive a complete information. Finally, the proposal aims for full harmonization in the area of financial services. In contrast to the previous directive of 2002, the proposal sets out similar rules for all financial services providers in all EU countries. Harmonization means the rules will be similar for all financial services providers, and consumers will be guaranteed the same rights in all member states. Et donc, comme vous pouvez vous...
So as you can see, we are proposing very specific rules today to protect consumers when concluding contracts for financial services in an increasingly digitalised world. And these will apply to all financial services. So these specific rules on the right of information and withdrawal will apply to protect consumers. This goes hand in hand with the one-in, one-out approach. We are repealing the old directive and modernising and trying to simplify access to information by consumers. Thank you.